recently there was a lot of discourse about K-pop online and what the political inclination of K-pop stans may be. Lots of tweets like, will K-pop stans end up being left-wing or right-wing? Who can say? Which side will they join? Then stories came out about K-pop fans making fake reservations to Trump's rally, reserving tickets so other people couldn't go.
We got enough problems with South Korea with trade.
And then some people on Twitter were like, yay, the K-pop stans picked a side. Yay, they picked the right side. Now, I'm not usually one to take memes too seriously, and maybe that's what I'm doing right now, but I have to say the framing of this issue just doesn't really pertain to reality. It's a bad way to conceptualize political alliances because it's a culture-based way to conceptualize political alliances. People aren't subdivided into little gangs that then choose a political side. They choose a political side based on their socioeconomic positioning, what propaganda they've been exposed to, how they're socialized, their personal principles, etc. What type of music you like do not inform those things. Your average K-pop fan, or at least the ones you come across on Twitter, are usually high school, maybe college age girls. Many of them are people of color. In other words, your average K-pop fan, at least in America, is like the exact demographic that's most likely to be left-wing. The average teenage girl K-pop fan isn't left-wing because she likes K-pop. She is left-wing because she's a teenage girl, which is also the target demographic of K-pop. A similar thing happened back in, I want to say 2017, when Juggalos went to march in Washington.
Magic everywhere in this bitch.
I don't know if that march actually went through. I'm assuming it did. But what happened is online, everyone was like, whoa, the Juggalos are radicalizing. Whoa, the Juggalos are woke and political now. And that's just the most naive and short-sighted thing I can imagine. Juggalos are almost universally poor working-class people. Now, they are primarily white, I imagine, but it is multiracial, and Juggalos are actually pretty vocally open to diversity, and, they pride themselves on being welcoming to all people. That is pretty typical of working class movements. Working class people are not nearly as exclusionary as middle class people. And for that reason, it makes complete sense that the Juggalos would generally be mostly left-wing. But I imagine most Juggalos have the political views that most working class white people have, which is to say, they don't think about politics that much. They have a lot of left-wing views, but they also have a lot of uninterrogated right-wing views, especially for social issues. They're kind of naive, so they might have these kind of backwards views that they've never thought about, but they still hold them, but are ultimately pretty sympathetic to redistributive and, left-wing economic policies. What I'm getting at is the impact of all of this is when you see a group of people, first as, say, an ICP fan or a K-pop fan, it is making politics into this sort of culture war political theater. And that's exactly where we don't want people to go. We don't want people to organize politically as if they're mods and rockers going to a street fight. We want them to organize politically based on their class. The cultural element matters, obviously, but it shouldn't be emphasized in the politics. The politics should be, we want everyone to have a better, more equitable, more socialized life, independent of any cultural elements. We don't even see your culture as long as you're on our side. You know, culture's what exists in the social sphere. In the political sphere, we're talking about economic issues. Because we're poor people and we want more money.
I have a structured settlement and I need cash now. Call J.G. Wentworth, 877 cash now.
We want more rights. We want the fruits of our labor. That is the more helpful, direct, left-wing political orientation, rather than viewing it as a bunch of subcultures picking sides.
Water, fire, air, and dirt. Fucking magnets. How do they